Well, welcome to the 700 Club. It's called the Stand Up for Religious Freedom Rally. Americans are protesting today against a key part of President Obama's health care plan.
It says that religious organizations have to provide coverage for contraception. Paul Strand explains why the protesters believe it represents a major threat to religious liberty.
In March, more than 60,000 protesters came together in 145 communities to protest Obamacare mandates. These mandates will force them to support health care plans that offer abortion-inducing drugs, contraceptives, and sterilization to their employees. But for many, that runs directly counter to their religion. Rally organizer Pat Mahoney.
This is the most dangerous and egregious attack on religious freedom in the history of the United States.
It's disturbing enough to hold a second nationwide rally in some 155 communities this time. Pro-life leader Lila Rose.
Our liberties are under attack right now. Our religious freedom is under attack right now, and taking that stand is essential.
Rob Schenck is working at the highest levels to fight these mandates and sees unprecedented unity forming. He just met with the Pope's personal ambassador to the U.S.
We talked at great length about the necessary alliance between evangelicals and Catholics, and I have never sensed a closer bond with our Catholic friends than over this issue.
This latest rally was deliberately set on the 223rd anniversary of James Madison introducing the Bill of Rights, which begins with the guarantee of religious liberty.
We do have a concept of a proper separation of church and state. In this instance, the President of the United States has said, I will tell you how you will practice your religion. That is outrageous.
It's insanity what the administration is pushing on the Catholic Church, pro-life people, Catholics.
For evangelicals, it'd be the same as telling us in our institutions we could not pray in the name of Jesus, or we could not read the Bible.
And this is an egregious violation of the First Amendment, a flagrant violation of the First Amendment.
Mahoney points out that some of America's top religious leaders say they're willing to pay a steep price to oppose these mandates.
Dr. Richard Land and Rick Warren, Pastor Rick Warren, both said, I will go to jail before I would comply with an order like this.
Lila Rose sees a thread going right from legalized abortion to what critics call this present threat against religious liberty, this forcing believers to buy into plans that pay for abortion-inducing drugs.
Americans in increasing numbers are agreeing that people should be able to be born. They should be able to live.
But since the 1973 Supreme Court Roe v. Wade decision, America has declared abortion legal.
If we allow that fundamental attack on the unborn child, that fundamental attack on the most basic human right, life, we should not be so surprised when they come for our religious liberty.
In other words, these protesters say if the nation doesn't respect your life, it won't respect your liberty. But as this rally shows, these Americans insist they'll stand up and fight that disrespect. Paul Strand, CBN News, Washington.
It's amazing how people aren't understanding this, and they just don't get it. Yesterday, Nancy Pelosi was asked in a news conference why 43 Catholic organizations had filed suit. Didn't she understand that this ruling by the Obama administration was against Catholic doctrine? It was fascinating, her response, that these organizations didn't speak for the church, that this wasn't something that was ex cathedra. Well, Lee Webb has the rest of our top stories from the CBN newsroom. Lee?
Gordon, Canadian lawmakers have passed a bill that forces Catholic schools to violate their beliefs about homosexuality. The new law says all schools, even religious ones, must let students form gay clubs on campus. Catholic schools that receive government funding had objected to this. They argue they should not be forced to accept student clubs that go against church teachings. But Ontario's premier said discrimination based on sexual orientation is no longer acceptable. He says those are values that transcend any one faith. Republicans are calling for a special counsel to investigate recent leaks to the media about important national security issues. The leaks include details of a recent covert cyber attack on Iran. Critics accuse the administration of leaking the stories to help President Obama look strong on national security in this election year. The top 4 leaders of Congress's intelligence committees condemned the leaks. Those stories contain secrets they say compromise America's national security as well as that of our allies. They plan to draft legislation that would restrict classified intelligence and punish those who can't keep secrets.
To have all 4 of us come forward today and talk about the severity of these leaks, I hope sends a very clear message about how dangerous this has become.
When people say they don't want to work with the United States because they can't trust us to keep a secret, that's serious.
On our CBN Newswatch program, I spoke to Cliff May, president of the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies, and I asked him if he thought these leaks had come straight from the White House.
It's certainly a possibility. Does that mean that people were necessarily thinking about revealing classified information? No, but if somebody says, you know, the boss, the president, is not getting credit for all the good things he's doing, for example, in cyber warfare, let's get some stories out there. Well, it's very possible that somebody's going to say, okay, let me go to a reporter, let me talk, and I've been a reporter, you're a reporter, well, you can sometimes get more information out of somebody than somebody means to reveal.
Rick Santorum may be out of the presidential race, but he's still very much involved. He has started a new organization called Patriot Voices. Santorum performed well in the GOP primaries by combining pro-family values with a constitutionally conservative message. And he told our David Brody that will be the focus of his new group.
It's where conservatives can go to make sure that their voice is going to be heard on all the issues, national security, economic, and of course moral, cultural, because they do blend together, and constitutional. I always say it used to be the three-legged stool. I now call it the four-legged stool. Much more stable stool.
Santorum says the defeat of President Obama is the organization's priority. His goal is to get 1 million people to join and start influencing political races as well as legislation. You can always get David's latest political coverage by checking out the Brody File on CBNNews.com, and you can always watch his weekly Brody File program on our website. It's posted on Friday mornings. A leading Muslim cleric says Jerusalem will be the new capital of Egypt if the Muslim Brotherhood candidate wins Egypt's presidential election. The cleric told a campaign rally that Egypt's capital would not be Cairo or Mecca or Medina, but Jerusalem. He says Egyptian Islamists will either pray in the streets of Jerusalem or be martyred there. A runoff election will take place in Egypt next week. The Muslim Brotherhood candidate is Mohammed Mursi. He's facing Egypt's former Prime Minister, Ahmed Shafiq. Gordon?
It's a very serious situation, and when you understand the motivation here, the Muslim Brotherhood, they're the ones that assassinated Anwar Sadat. And they did so because he went to the Knesset and he recognized Israel's right to exist. That whole peace accord that he crafted, the Camp David peace accords back in 1978, it cost him his life. And now that same group is poised to take control of Egypt and its military. And the disconnect here is the head of our foreign intelligence for the Obama administration thinks that the Muslim Brotherhood is not a religious organization, that it's just a political group. Well, nothing could be further from the truth. And if they win, say goodbye to the Arab Spring, we'll have a new theocracy in Egypt that will be bent on the destruction of Israel.
Members of the famous Crystal Cathedral will relocate next summer. The Roman Catholic Diocese of Orange County, California, purchased the glass pane building in bankruptcy proceedings for a little more than $57 million. That deal will allow Crystal Cathedral's congregation to meet at a nearby Catholic church for free through December of next year. Robert Schuller founded the church and its Hour of Power television ministry. The building was sold off to pay off more than $40 million of debt. An Operation Blessing food bank is helping save lives in Niger. A recent report named Niger the worst place to be for a mother. Nutrition and health concerns plague the West African state, but Operation Blessing is stepping in to help there. OB set up a food bank that provides food even during times of drought and famine. During harvest times, families sell their crops to the bank. Then when food is scarce, they're able to use their profits to buy from the food bank at a much lower price. One woman says that without Operation Blessing's food bank, she does not know where she would find food to feed her children. And you can find out more about Operation Blessing by going to its website at ob.org.